This is episode 6 of the One Idea podcast, How to Build a $1 Million Business. This podcast is produced by Evolve and Adapt, a certified marketing consultancy firm based in Singapore and Malaysia. If you need the strategy and marketing implementation work for your business to succeed in the digital economy, reach out to us at evolveadapt.com. Dear citizens, my name is JC Sum. I'm a certified marketing management consultant and the author of Evolve, Adapt or Collapse. How do you build a $1 million business? I'll share with you a simple way that would allow you to create a $1 million business literally overnight. This comes from a self-styled sales, marketing, and branding guru from Singapore. This is his approach for valuing a business that he shared in an interview that is on YouTube. I'll change the numbers a bit to protect his privacy, but it doesn't change his valuation model. I say valuation model in air quotes. So what this guru does is value a business literally by plucking a figure out of thin air. For example, he will proclaim that a company is worth $500,000, even if its revenue is only $5,000 a month. And based on that imaginary valuation, he would say 1% of the company is worth $5,000. Now he finds a sucker, investor, to invest $5,000 to own 1% of this business. Now if he finds someone to part with $5,000, it means that it is proof the business is worth $500,000. So it's that simple. All you have to do is self-value your business at $1 million. Then find someone who will pay you $5,000 for 0.5% of your business. Once you do, you will have a business worth $1 million. Obviously, this approach to valuing a company requires a big leap of faith and logic. This is a fundraising tactic, but it's not a reflection or measurement of the actual worth of the business. To be fair, the guru is young and really not a guru. He's a good salesperson who knows how to target and convince people with little business or investing experience to buy into his pitches. While the interviewer pointed out the fallacy in his thinking, the interviewer did recognize that this guru was young and out of his depth, so let him off fairly easily. While it seems absurd, the basic conceptual valuation model is not new and is notoriously used in valuing startups, which can be a big problem. One high-profile example is WeWork. In the beginning, the charismatic co-founder, Adam Neumann, self-valued WeWork at $45 million and convinced an initial investor to invest $15 million for 1/3 of the company. This validated the valuation in Adam's mind and allowed him to attract more investors. Naturally, the bubble eventually burst, and this story is told in the Apple original series, We Crashed, which is based on the podcast of the same name. Check it out. Jared Leto did an incredible job portraying Adam Neumann. Obviously, while this valuation model might be suited for startup fundraising, the above approach is not the right way of building a real business that has value, regardless of whether the goal is to build a $100,000 business or $1 million business. So how do you go about building a $1 million business? First, I should clarify that a $1 million business is a vague term. There are several ways to value a business. If someone offers to buy your business for $1 million, it is a $1 million business. Some people use an industry multiplier on revenue, which means if the annual turnover is $500,000 and the industry multiplier is 2, then the company is worth $1 million. Another common method to value a company is to use discounted cash flow. Discounted cash flow, or DCF, is a valuation method used to estimate the value of an investment based on projections of how much money it will generate in future. But for purposes of this discussion, let's use what a layman might typically consider a $1 million business, and that is total revenue earned. That means a company should have secured $1 million worth of business to be considered a $1 million business. To make things simple, let's not consider cost of goods or operating costs in this discussion as well. We'll just look at the top line figure. I will use the arbitrary figure of $1 million because it sounds good and clickbaity, but it is also a generally accepted big milestone for a small business. So this is the basic approach to build a $1 million company, and you can apply this approach regardless of what the revenue goal is, whether it is $10,000, $100,000, or $1 million. The very first thing you need is something of value that the market desires. It could be a product or service. As discussed in episode 4, Why Our Girls Go Army made $2.5 million, many businesses create a product that does not have a place in the market or does not add value to customers in the target market. The right approach to building a solid business is to research the market and create a product that the market wants. This is opposed to creating a product that you want and then look for people to sell it to. Let us assume you have a good product or service that has value to the market. Let us also assume you have your back-end operations in order and that all products or services can be fulfilled to your customers' satisfaction. So how do you go about making that $1 million in revenue? Let us use a simple sales performance framework that can provide a simple formula for your business. Revenue is made up of the number of orders multiplied by the order value. So if you have 100 orders at $1,000 each, your revenue will be 100 times 1,000, which is $100,000. That is quite straightforward. As a business owner, if you want to make $1 million in sales, you must figure out how you're going to get there. This is really the key to building a $1 million business. If you cannot map out your path to generating $1 million in sales, there's no way you can reach that goal. So how can you make $1 million in sales? Here are some examples. You can have a product that sells for $1 million and find one customer. You can have a product that sells for $100,000 and find 10 customers. You can have a product that sells for $100 and find 10,000 customers. Or you can have a product that sells for $10 and find 100,000 customers. You get the picture. What you need to do is figure out how you want to reach that $1 million goal, because each route presents its own challenges and requires different strategies and tactics. Convincing a single customer to make $1 million purchase is vastly different from mass marketing a $10 product. The methods used to target, attract, and convince customers is very different for different price points. The buying psychology and customer journey are completely different and are not interchangeable. The profile of the customers are likely to be very different as well. The decision on which route you want to take depends on different factors, such as your own entrepreneurial philosophy and preferences, your entrepreneurial and business influences, your business and social network, your educational or professional background, the nature of your business, or your ability to produce a product or deliver a service that is worth a certain price point. Here's an extension of the sales performance framework shared earlier. The framework shows that there are really only 3 basic ways to scale your business. Number 1, increase your number of orders. Number 2, increase your average order value. And finally, number 3, increase both. If you currently run a business, which method can you adopt to grow your business? If you are a new entrepreneur thinking about your business model or product, which route will you take to get to $1 million in sales? Go exclusive, go mass market, or try to go in between? Going in between sounds great in theory, but it is much harder than it seems to achieve in practice. Once you know the route you want to take, you must then plan how you realistically achieve that goal and how much money, time and effort it is going to cost. For example, if you're going mass market, one possible marketing tactic is to go heavy on digital advertising to reach as many people as possible and hopefully convert them into customers. This means paying platforms like Facebook, Google, TikTok, or LinkedIn to expose your ad and brand to their user base. Without going into the technical details of digital advertising or pay-per-click advertising as it is known, One metric used is called the cost per acquisition. This refers to the amount of ad spend required to convert one customer. The simple formula is to take the total ad spend, which is the amount spent on the advertising platform, and divide it by the total number of customers that were converted as a result of the ad. The current benchmark for the cost per acquisition of a single customer is between $20 to $30. That means a company generally must invest around $25 to get a customer. Now consider this. If the retail price of your product is $10, this means you must spend $25 to get a customer to spend this $10. I can hear the gears moving in your brain. This doesn't make sense. You have no doubt realized that this results in making a loss of $15 with each customer. This doesn't take into consideration the cost of goods or operating expenses. So in reality, you might be spending $40 to make $10. Obviously, this is not good business. However, if your product is worth $1,000 and the cost of acquisition is $25, it might seem like a great investment. On the flip side, if you're trying to close extremely high-ticket items, the customer journey will be completely different. You will unlikely be acquiring million-dollar clients through a Facebook ad. It will probably require a more personal approach with face-to-face contact and the ability to establish high authority and credibility. For most businesses, a combination of good marketing tactics is required. This includes a system to cast a wide net to create brand awareness and to generate leads, followed by the ability to filter these leads and convert them into customers. This is what is known as a marketing funnel, and the crafting of the funnel must be preceded by having the right positioning and branding strategy based on a unique differentiated value. I will not be surprised that your head is spinning right now. Well, no one said that it would be easy. In fact, for all these successful businesses out there, there are some that are successful by design, some that are successful by luck, and many that are successful due to a combination of design and luck. The adage of build and they will come is not a good formula for business success today in a highly competitive market and globally connected world. The key to building a million-dollar business is to first know you can get there theoretically. Figure out exactly how much your product or service should be priced at and calculate how many customers you need. Then strategize how you're going to reach those specific customers based on their profile and the numbers you need. Most business owners do not have a roadmap to hit a revenue target. They just set sales quotas for their marketing and sales team without understanding the sales performance formula that works for their business. Worse yet, they engage in all kinds of uninformed marketing tactics to drive sales. The results are unpredictable, unprojectable, and unsustainable over time. There are three elements to success: the right plan, hard work, and luck, in that order. You have no control over luck, and without the right plan, endless hard work may not produce the desired results. So you must plan, whether you're building a $100,000 business or a $1 million business. To quote Ben Franklin, "If you fail to plan, you're planning to fail." I hope you enjoyed this episode of the One Idea podcast. Catch every episode by subscribing to the podcast on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcasts, or on your favorite podcast app. Just search for One Idea. ONEEYEDEER. As you know, a podcast needs listeners' reviews to grow, so please leave a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts. This ensures we can keep this podcast free forever. Check the show notes for details. If you'd like to learn more about the podcast, myself, or our consulting firm, head over to oneideapodcast.com. My name is JC Sum, and this has been One Idea.